Reg A plus liquidity. Obviously, you can list on the OTC markets, even on the pink sheets, and you can list on the NASDAQ. But you heard what I just said, right? So, you know, but yeah, I'll stick to my sequence because I know I've got that coming up later. The good thing here is that it's been mooted for a long time that there will be aftermarket places to list your securities for Reg A plus offerings. They are actually coming out real life. Later this year, September, October, there will be actual Reg A plus secondary markets where no naked shorting, it's just buying and sellers, buyers and sellers, that's all it is. And the one I like the best, they require these things, at least 2,000 investors, and you know, any sizable medium and up Reg A plus offering will have more than 2,000 investors very easily. And monthly management financials, not audits, but management financials reported monthly. And initially, they're not going to charge a listing fee, but they'll charge one once they've done it for a while and got momentum. So that's it, right? That's pretty damn good, because what have you got? You've got actual liquidity for your investors on a limited scale, and depending on how good the marketing you're doing on an ongoing basis is, but not depending on, not worried about naked shorting, you can support the enthusiasm in the market so there'll be enough buyers for your sellers. And that's a lovely thing, right? So keep marketing, keep promoting the company. If you're going to do more Reg A pluses, that's automatically going to support the buyer market in the aftermarket, right? Something which you may not be aware of is that once you've completed the Reg A plus, even if you don't list, this is where it's more surprising. If you don't list, every security owner in the company becomes liquid as a result of the Reg A plus. So after the first 6 monthly management financials, this is a non-listed Reg A plus, right? So once a year gap audit after you've finished your raise and during, and 6 monthly management financials. This is not a big onerous burden. So let's say you just completed the offering, and 8 weeks later, it's time for you to produce your annual audit, US GAAP level. You produce it. All the insiders have approximately a month in which they can sell their shares or their preferred shares or whatever securities you have in the company, unless you lock them up, right? So clearly, in some cases, you would want to lock them up. But where do they go? They can go to the Reg A plus aftermarket to trade them. Now, what that says is the volume, the liquidity will be modest, if not very little liquidity. And the downside for 10% and bigger owners of shares, investors in the company, and the founders, you know who they are, you guys are familiar with these concepts, is that you're limited to 1% of the float. So if the float is microscopic, you can sell a microscopic amount in that window of time, right? So it's in your interest to build aftermarket liquidity on that market would be my recommendation, because it's a very good way to go without vulnerability to the naked short side that we see, that I've described in great detail here, or some detail. Okay, so but the fact that everybody gets liquid, that's pretty cool. And investors who are that have less than 10%, they're not restrained by, oh, you just did an audit. They're able to all day long, all year long, sell without a 1% restraint. So your long-standing investors that own less than 10% positions in the company, they get liquid, right? It's really good, automatically, because you completed your Reg A plus. No listing on some major exchange, although, all the caveats stated there.